Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will discuss brief facts about London. London is the capital and the largest city of England and the United Kingdom. The city stands on River Thames in the southeast of England at the head of its 50 miles estuary leading to the North Sea. London has been a major settlement for 2 millennia and was originally called Londinium, which was founded by Romans. The city of London is an ancient core and financial center. The adjacent city of Westminster has for centuries been the location of much of the national government. The London region is governed by the Mayor of London and the London Assembly. It exerts considerable influence upon the arts, commerce, education, entertainment, fashion, finance, healthcare, media, professional services, research, development, tourism, and transportation. It is one of the largest financial centers in the world. London is actually a small urban area part of the Greater London region. The city of London covers only 1.2 square miles and has a population of around 7,500 residents. As such, the city of London is actually smallest in England. Greater London, on the other hand, is an English region which encompasses surrounding towns covering 606 square miles and having a population of over 8.7 million residents. The second fact about London is the cultural diversity. As one of the most diverse cities in the world, London houses over 8 million residents, who collectively speak over 300 languages, including Bengali, Gujarati, Punjabi, Cantonese, Mandarin, Hokkien, and of course English. In order for a person to become a black cab driver, they must complete a rigorous test called the knowledge, which involves memorizing every single street in the capital. Cab drivers can spend years trying to learn it all. Some even walk around every part of the city as a way of lodging all the side streets and black alleys in their brains. In a city filled with grand monuments and huge statues, it is nice to know London has an official smallest statue located on the Philpott Lane. The statue of two tiny mice eating cheese is dedicated to two builders who fell during the construction of the monument after an argument over a missing sandwich that they blamed on each other, but was actually the fault of mice infestation. As well as 300 languages spoken in London, the number of museums in the capital adds to the culture of this city. London has over 170 museums, from the massive British Museum, London's most popular tourist attraction, to the tiny fan museum in Greenwich. Standing in the middle of the city of London, it feels difficult to believe, but London has so many trees. That's why it falls within the UN definition of a forest. The capital is known worldwide for being a rainy city, except for the fact it's not true at all. London actually sees less rain than Rome, Miami, and Sydney in both terms of volume and number of rainy days. London had the second highest number of billionaires of any city in Europe, after Moscow. More than 80 billionaires live in London, make it the city with the highest number of billionaires in the world. Moreover, London billionaires represent 80% of all billionaires living in the UK. London leaves behind big cities like New York, San Francisco, Moscow, and Paris. The Millennium Dome is so big that it can fit the Great Pyramids of Giza comfortably under the roof. A structure of 365 meters in diameter and 52 meters high in the middle, with 12 supporting poles symbolizing days, weeks, and months of the year. The London Eye was not the first big wheel in London. In fact, the Great Wheel earned this title. This wheel was constructed in 1895 for the Empire of India exhibition. It was sadly demolished in 1907, 91 years before the construction started on the London's Eye. London has a comprehensive bus system covering pretty much every part of the capital. Each year, the buses on London transport system drive over 300 million miles, which when you total it up is more than 12 times of the Earth's circumference. London is the only city in the world that has hosted Olympics 3 times, in 1908, 1948 and the most recently in 2012. The 1908 Olympics were also the longest in the history of the event, lasting for 187 days. London has always taken a relatively progressive position on things, including allowing women to use their brains. In 1878, London University was the first in Britain to allow women to study and grant degrees to them. And in 2020, London's university formed the largest concentration of higher education institutes in Europe. And London is home to highly ranked institutions, such as Imperial College London in Natural and Applied Sciences, the London School of Economics in Social Sciences, as well as the Comprehensive University College London. London's population is nudging the 9 million mark, meaning more people live in London than in Austria. That will not come as a surprise to anyone who has ever tried to get anywhere during rush hours. World War II took a heavy toll on London. Over 30,000 people were died as a result of German bombs and rocket raids. Over 50,000 people were injured and most of the city of London was destroyed. London was bombed each and every night for 57 consecutive nights, from 7 September 1940 during the Blitz. Governments displaced by the Nazi regime took a precedence in London during the Second World War. So the city was the seat of government of the 6 countries at the same time. That covered the governments of France, Poland, Holland, Belgium, Norway and of course United Kingdom. The capital of United Kingdom is not the only city in the world called London. The United States has 10, Canada 1, France 1 and even there is an asteroid called London. Make sure where you are going next time when you book your tickets.